All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do our block model, just a little sample to get you ready to make a mold. So I'm going to do a small object inches. Maximize this. And then we're going to go ahead and draw our cube first, and then we're going to start just using subtraction to create some shapes. So if I draw a box, this box I'm going to make 6 by 6 by 6. Enter. Double click, go into perspective, and change my view to shaded. So that's the overall size of what is going to be molded. Now we want to chip away at it. And remember I said try to use more straight lines. So I'm going to go to a top view and draw a rectangle smaller than the box. So I'm going to do 5 inch by 5 inch. And then I'm just going to start making shapes in here that I'll make three-dimensional. So make another rectangle. You might have to turn the center off here. Mirror it over. So mirror is probably a new tool. So you type MIR for mirror. Select the object to mirror, click on it, and then you're basically drawing a line between the two sides that you want to mirror. So I draw this line down and pull it straight and click. And now you have another object there. You can select them both and go back into perspective, extrude them up, and maybe I'll do 2 inches. Okay. And let's go ahead and maybe do a polygon. Why not? It still has straight lines. And polygon, 5-sided, sounds good to me. So number of sides you can change right there. Do it in the middle. And then extrude, curve up. Maybe make this 1 inch. I'm just keeping these basic dimensions, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/4 of an inch. You don't want anything thinner than 1/8 of an inch. And try to keep them kind of round. That helps too. So now I'm going to move this to the middle. And the way I'm going to do that actually is move, enter, click on the object, enter. But don't click on the object to move it. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click from here and then find my midpoint on this spot. That way I know I moved it to the middle. So I'm just displacing it by this point to the midpoint to get it nice and centered. Might want to do some more shapes. From midpoint here to midpoint there. See, my lines got all out of whack here. From midpoint to midpoint, midpoint to midpoint. I need to close these lines off. So you have to make a complete body. So I'm going to do a polyline. From this point here to there, enter. And then I'm going to join these two. You see when I click on this one, there's two lines here. So if I shift click to add to the selection, it gives me the option of which one to choose. This is the one I want. And then I'm going to join that together. I'll extrude that all the way up. And I can do that process again or mirror. Alright, so I'm going to just take this simple form in here, and this is just kind of a trial. I'm going to Boolean union this together and make it all one piece. So we use Boolean union, okay. And then I'm going to take these two, select them both, shift select, and I'm going to flip it up 90 degrees. I have my snap or my ortho turned on so it rotates properly. If you don't have ortho on, when you turn it off, it rotates at any direction, but if I hold down shift, then release, it gives you the same effect. But I decided actually I also want to, I made this 5 inches I believe, so I want to offset it 1 inch. So I'm using offset, enter, or offset, enter, 1, enter, click. Let's measure it. So use dim for measurement. Go from here to there. That's too much. Offset 0.5, enter, click there. All right, that's right. So now I can use these two together as guidelines. So this, selecting that curve and the geometry, flip that up, shift click, and then I'm going to use that curve in conjunction with my object to move it onto one of the faces. So I grab that little edge right there on the curve, right there, and marry it up to right there. Okay. And then let's Boolean difference. Keep this, enter, get rid of this, and this, enter. And sometimes it's a little problematic. It's okay though. If it doesn't work the first time, let's go to a top view and see. So let's do it one at a time. Boolean difference. Click on this to keep, enter, click on this to remove, enter. That worked. Click on this to keep, enter, click on this to remove, enter. Does not work because this little section right there is meeting in a weird way. So let's go ahead and undo to the point where this is separated. And it's fine as long as it's in 2 pieces. So if I Boolean union this together and Boolean union this together, I've got to offset this line again because I undid it. Just Command Z to undo. 0.5 still there. Click on that, this, and this with shift. Flip it up, shift, move, enter, click there, click there. So I just undid it to get back to this point. So now hopefully I can Boolean difference. Click on this, enter, click on this, enter. Click on this, enter, click on this, enter. Click on this, enter, click on this, enter. All right, and so this is what our positive of the mold is kind of going to look like. And I can see that maybe I want some more changes to be made, or we can do some things on different sides that will match up, meet up. Maybe we can even punch a hole all the way through here. And you can actually do that by using the surface. So if I go Command Shift and then click, or Control Shift click if you have a PC, I'm sorry, I can extrude this surface by itself. Let's just do it that way. Extrude. Instead of curve, we're doing surface. Surface. Select the surface, enter, and let's go ahead and just knock it all the way through. And then we'll Boolean difference it. So Boolean difference, click on this to keep, enter, click on this to get rid of, enter. And now you can create kind of a hole all the way through. And if you wanted the other side mirroring that side, you can do that. Or you can find some way of using that polygon in the middle in an interesting way. But you can also actually modify the edges of this object, and it should still work fine when we create the mold. So let's see. If we chamfer edge, okay. So we can do that. Basically, anything we do where we have this form working, where it's a solid object, is totally going to work. So, any form of stacking, just remembering to use as straight edges as you want. This could start out to be like a letter form, like an A, whatever. Basically, I would like you to try to take about 50% of this block away through subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to keep making sides here, and while I'm making the sides, I'm not going to use anything fancier than extrude and mirror to make the sides, so I might speed through it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to actually use a new tool called Trim here. So Trim, enter, and then it says select your cutting object. So I want to cut out these two lines. So I want to cut them off right at where these lines meet. So I'm going to select all 4 of these diagonals as my cutting line. Enter, and then click here to trim out those shapes. Enter. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just chipping away at it, actually drawing on the surfaces and subtracting things out. So I'm going to draw a rectangle from here to here, curve, move it over to my midpoint, extrude it down 2 inches. That's too far. I'm going to move it up an inch and move it up another half an inch. That's where I want it, right in line with that. All right, I want to talk briefly about construction planes too. So you see I've created shapes on this object that are no longer straight. So if I wanted to draw on this, it'd be kind of tricky. But what I can do is I can set a construction plane to be in line with that. So basically right now the construction plane is in line for the top. You can see the grid is oriented towards it. So let's go ahead and right click here, or if you have a PC, the little drop down arrow there. And we'll set the construction plane, and in this case I'm going to do a 3-point. So I'm going to click on that, and then if I click here, here, And there, 3 points, I've now aligned my grid with that. And so if I start to draw, I'm on that axis. Makes it really easy to take this shape, extrude it in, don't want to go all the way. Okay. And then I'm going to mirror on the other side. Oh, now you can see my construction plane has got my mirror all messed up. So I've got to reset my construction plane. Right click if you're a Mac person, or the down arrow, and then go world top. And there you go. So now if I go mirror, find my midpoint to my midpoint, or hit shift, I can Boolean difference out those shapes. All right, I mean, I would probably add a little bit more to it than this, but this is kind of a basic model, and you can see all straight lines, some kind of cool geometry, and the next step is going to be actually to make the mold of it. So we've got the positive shape, we'll make a negative shape.